this is Lizzie from Earn and Lou, and today I'm going to go over how you can use Canva templates for your marketing. This is a service that we offer to a lot of our clients, a product I should say, is we will create custom Canva templates for them. We also have a shop where you can purchase pre-made templates that you can then customize yourself. And they're just a really great option if you are, a small business and you don't necessarily have a marketing person, if you're just starting out, if you are, just beginning to really hone in on your branding. It's a great place to begin before you hire an in-house graphic designer or an in-house marketing person. So I wanted to start by just going over the purpose of templates and how you might use them. So let's talk about the purpose of your templates and really what they're here for. So templates are a template. They're here to give you a clear starting point, right? So you already have the skeleton of a post, and really your only job is to plug and play. So rather than coming up with ideas from scratch, you already have your idea, and then you have these templates that you can plug things into. Templates that we sell and that we create for all of our clients are optimized for current social media trends and engagement. So you don't have to come up with the strategy. They have some basic strategy built into them. And when I say strategy, I mean each post is designed to, be shareable or to garner some kind of response. I'm not saying that templates are your whole social strategy, which we'll get into in a second. But the basic strategy of getting people to actually respond or to stop their scroll and look at the post is built into all of the templates. Templates also create a really cohesive visual brand, which, over time, the more you're using your templates and using them with your branding, right, your colors, your visuals, your fonts, you'll start to get more brand recognition, and then that leads to increased awareness, right? So the more you have images that look like you, you're not like throwing all of these different images up all of the time, the more people will begin to know who you are and what you're about. And a lot of branding is the messaging, it's the visuals, right? A lot of branding is not just the logo and the fonts that you use. It's some more of that like kind of harder to pinpoint, less concrete stuff. And then the last part of templates that we really love is it just helps you work smarter and not harder. Like I said, it's plug and play. Ideally, these are designed to give you some of your time back. So what you need to get started, you have to have a Canva account. All of the templates that we create are in Canva. You can start with a free account. We recommend a pro account. I want to say right now it's $12 a month. It is absolutely worth it, and you get access to a lot more photos, elements, different tools. You also need to make sure that you have the exact brand hex codes and 2 fonts. So everybody needs a header font for their brand and a body font. I have an example right here. We use Cooper Black up here as our header font. It's really bold, it stands out. We use it in our logo. And then for text, we have a body font. We use Railway. And you want to have a font pairing that is easy to read, it encapsulates your brand, it speaks to you, and you want this in your templates so that you're not using different fonts all the time. You just use your fonts, make sure they're easy to read, it looks like you, you're not trying to like look a certain way, you just know what you're going to use. I want to come back to the hex codes because this is something that we see a lot with clients is they'll say like, well, I always use purple. And you don't just want to use any shade of purple, you want it to be the exact same color purple anytime. If you're not sure which color code that you like or that you use, there are a lot of free programs online where you can search for your hex code. For the last thing, the best results is you need to have a marketing strategy in place. These are not a standalone strategy. These are a tool to help you implement your strategy, right? So templates are awesome. It's great to have a cohesive brand. It's great to be posting things on social media, but there has to be a strategy behind those posts or you're not really going to see anything from it. We talk to people all the time who in the past have purchased really fancy templates, but they thought that just by using those templates, they would see the results that they want. And unfortunately, there's a little bit more that goes into it, which we are always here to help with. We have a lot of great resources on our website and on our YouTube channel, but you need to have an actual strategy, and then your templates are helping you implement that strategy. They're a piece of the strategy, but they're not the whole strategy. So now I'm going to take you through a little walkthrough of using your Canva templates. Okay, so this is a small set of templates that we created for a client. They have kind of a modern lifestyle aesthetic brand, sort of going for that line of retro and a little bit futuristic. But let's say that we bought these as earn and lieu and we want to be putting our own branding into them. So the first thing that I want to show you is just how you can go get your style. So if you haven't already, you want to go to canva.com and build yourself a brand kit. I'm going to show you what that means. Once you navigate to the Canva home screen, on the left-hand side here, you'll click on Brand Kit, which will then take you to a dashboard where you can enter all of those hex codes that we talked about. So to add a brand kit, you hit the little button up here. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call this Test Brand Kit. And you put your logos here, you can put your colors here, it'll populate colors for you too. You can say what fonts that you want, and then it saves automatically so that anytime you're anywhere else in Canva, rather than searching for these fonts, like the size, the spacing, or searching for these color codes, they're just there for you. So now I want to walk you through how you can actually change and personalize these templates for you. So you want to go to styles and make sure that your appropriate brand populates. We work with a bunch of clients, so we have a lot of different brand kits in our Canva. You probably, hopefully, will just have yours, but in case you do not, make sure that the correct one is showing up here, and then you can see that my typography kit and all of my color codes have populated. So to change this, if you want to just do like a blanket change, click on the design that you want to edit. Make sure that there is a blue line around the whole thing. That means the entire thing has been highlighted, and I'm going to click my fonts first. It usually takes a second, and now it's changed all of the fonts in here to my fonts, which is awesome. If I wanted to do that for the whole design and not go through one by one, once you do that one time, this purple button will show up in the bottom that says Apply to All Pages. And again, it takes a second, especially if you have some of our clients we give 100 templates to. So if you have 100 templates, it might take a few minutes. Go grab a snack. But once it's all done, you'll be able to scroll down, and I'm just going to keep talking while it does this. You can see how long that it takes. But once it actually goes through, you'll be able to scroll down and see that your fonts have populated within everything in the design, which is really awesome. So you don't have to be like going and tweaking everything one by one. You absolutely can, and we still recommend, go in and actually check with the asset itself before you download and post it, just to make sure that it's up to your qualifications. All right, and then eventually it'll stop spinning, and now if I scroll down, I can see all of my fonts have populated into every single design. However, these still don't really match my styles and colors, so I'm gonna click on this design again, and you can do the style brush, and it'll just cycle through a bunch of different color combinations. And again, this one, it can go a little bit slow. It's not always perfect if you're in a pinch, or if you are just, not the most creative, or you want more ideas. This is a good option to at least get started. But then let's say that I've done that a couple times and I don't super love it. This is where you can go in and customize things. I really want to drive home that if you buy a template from us as a client or from our shop, every single thing in here is customizable. So none of this is set in stone. Like I said, these are a starting point. So I'm going to start by going up here, and I'm going to hit this button up here, and then all of my colors will populate in a second. So let's say I want to make this like this light tan that we have. Let's say that I want to make this also that tan, right? So you can start to go in and tweak things if you want it to be a little bit more personalized. Again, you don't have to do this, but you have the option to. So I'm just gonna go in, and I really like this tan color that I'm going with. I'm gonna make all of the text in here be that color. And then leave this one that has my handle down at the bottom in a different color just so it stands out. All right, so now I've got like my colors and my font in here. This background still doesn't really match my style. So there's a couple options you can do for images like this. I can again click it, and then a little rainbow thing will pop up here, which lets me know that there's not a set color because this looks like it's a photo that we uploaded as a background or an image. So I can go here and click one of my colors, and it'll populate as a background. If Instead, I wanted to use an image as my background, which you are always, of course, welcome to do. Here are some of my photos. I could upload this instead as a background, and you just click on it and drag it over until it pulls up like this. This is obviously a little too bright for me, so I'm going to undo that. The last thing that you probably notice about this design is this is not me. This doesn't actually have any relevance to our brand, so I could look for photos. You have two options for photos. Option one is you can go to upload, and you can just upload whatever photo that you want. Something I love about Canva is that there is also the option to sync with your Google Drive, so you don't have to be uploading all of the pictures. You can just be pulling from Google Drive. Let's pull in a product photo. Let's say I really do have a summer collection, and I want the product photo to fill this image in the center. It's pretty slow on Loom when I'm actually recording, but hopefully it won't be this slow for you. All right, so now this looks exactly like my branding. Another thing that I want to say is if for whatever reason there's an element within your post that you don't love or that just doesn't fit this post, you can click this and delete it. You can also move things around, right? And so sometimes we'll hear like, I really like the sunburst on that one image, but it doesn't really fit the other one. The great thing is you can delete things, you can move them around. If you want to make something bigger, you click this and then drag. Right? There's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do. So again, you're not set in stone with like the beginning way that this is set up. It's just a starting point. If there's something else that you wanted to do, let's say I live in Seattle and I want to do like a coffee themed post. I want there to be like a little coffee icon. If there's something that you want to add, again, you can add as much as you want to these. So I'm going to go up here into the elements bar, and I'm going to type in coffee, if I can spell coffee right, icon. And I'm going to wait for it to think and pull it up. So let's say I've decided I just want this to be an icon post. I'm going to delete this center element and throw in this cool little icon of a steamy coffee cup. And again, I can go up and make sure that it is in whatever brand colors that I think would be best here. All right. So it's very customizable, and I want to drive home, like, get creative with it, play around. We just have put everything at a starting point for you. All right, so that's how you kind of like edit and play around with them. Again, you can go through all of these. It's really awesome. You can do them one by one, or you can just copy the same style. So now let's go through how to actually, once you've decided on a design that you want, what to do with it. So you're going to go up to this download button, hit the drop down, and unless you're downloading every single image at once, you'll want to just select the ones that you need. The default, unless you hit this save download settings button, will always be to download the full design, which you don't want to do. So go here. I mean, you might want to do it, but it's just a lot of different images, especially if you're not going to use all of them. And unclick, and then just click the ones that you want. The great thing about Canva is it'll show you the images of it. I always suggest for social media, make sure that this is a PNG file, not a JPEG file. There's two different file size options. PNG is best because it's a little bit higher quality, especially if you plan to repurpose this on web, right? And you don't want to be doing JPEG. So it'll download, and then it'll show up within your downloads, which is great. If for some reason you had like an animation, so all of our templates can also be turned into videos, which I think is really cool. So let's say we just want to animate this coffee cup, right? I'm going to click on the coffee cup. I've got the coffee cup, and then I'm going to go to animate. All right, and I want the coffee cup to like tumble in. So I'm going to hit tumble, and now you'll see when I play it, and this play button up here is a really great way to preview your designs. It'll tumble in. Awesome. You can also play around with the text. You can have the entire design be animated, it's up to you. You can also, as you're searching for elements, look for animated elements, and then you would have a little video, which videos are doing really well on Instagram right now, across social media, TikTok. So that's another option. If you do end up creating a animated or a video post, when you go to download, make sure that you download it as an MP4 video and not as an image. You can also make GIFs if that's something that you want to do, and then you would just do the exact same thing, but download it as a GIF. All right, so now let's say that you have this design and you love it, you've posted it on Instagram and it's doing really well. We'll use this one as an example just so we don't have to look at the same one the entire time. So let's say that you've posted this on Instagram, it's doing really well. This is another example of why you want to go through and check everything before you download it, because the template had different capitalization, so I just want to make sure that mine looks right. I really like this template. I want to reuse it, but it's only in square format and I need it for, let's say, a story. Go up here to where it says resize, and then you'll click on resize and it'll ask you where you want to resize it to. The great thing about resizing within Canva is it will intuitively tell you the sizing. You don't need to know sizing off the top of your head. If for some reason you need to make like a Pinterest post or a YouTube post or something that you can't find, just type it into Google and ask for the dimensions and it'll populate. And you can do this in pixels, you can do inches, millimeters, centimeters. Those are great options if you're doing something printable. So let's say I wanted to resize this into a story. So I type in story, it's automatically going to pull up the right dimensions, and you can resize it either in the actual design file that you're in, or you can create an entire new design file, which would then make all of these in the story size. So again, if there's a design that you really love, you don't have to start from scratch and make it all over again. You can just resize it. Another thing is, if you have multiple templates or you have old templates that you've used and you're like bouncing back and forth between two different boards on Pinterest, Canva, something that I really love is you can access all of your Canva designs actually within Canva itself. So I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom and start a new page so that I don't lose any of the designs that I already have. So it'll populate a blank page, and then when you go over to the left side, you'll see a little thing that says all of your designs. Click on that, and then everything is going to populate. So let's say that I want to use this really cool design that we made for another client, a yoga studio, and I'm just going to click here, and eventually it'll populate within here. So you don't need to be bouncing back and forth to different design files. Canva can take up a lot of energy because it is a pretty high powered program within your computer. So you have that option to just jump in and pull from another design. And then if you want to use a design again, this button up here will duplicate the page. So let's say I want to use this exact same design. I really liked it. Maybe I'm going to use it for like every single event of mine, but I want to change it so that it looks a little bit different. I could just go down to styles and click on the little color bar until I find a design that I like. Okay, so you have that option as well. The last thing that I'll say, if you want to search for photos, we went over this really briefly, but just like you search for an element, if you haven't already uploaded your own photos, you can go through Canva. Make sure that you hit the Photos tab up here and then type in whatever you're looking for. So let's say coffee cup. And it'll pull up, which is great if you don't have, a ton of assets of your own, or you just need to like kind of fill space. And again, make sure that it's populating just the photos. Otherwise it'll pull up everything. Sometimes you have to do that twice. I really love this pink one, so I'm going to pull it over and pop it in to this design. Canva really doesn't want to work with me while I'm on Loom, but hopefully, there you go. Hopefully you get the idea. All right, so you can change out all of your photos to your liking, change the event title, change whatever you want. And then the last thing that I'll say is, If you go to down here and click on more for photos, this program called Pexels will show up, and Pexels is a really high quality free stock image website. So if you're not seeing anything that you love within Canva, you can go to Pexels and type in coffee cup and pull from the website itself right here. I like this option because in the past you would have to pull from stock photo websites and then upload them to Canva, and now you don't have to. So that's an option too. So we've gone over how to customize, how to resize, how to personalize, how to set your own brand kit, and also how to use the style brush and all of that jazz. So hopefully you feel like you are like ready to go with Canva. Lastly, this is a newer feature from Canva. If you don't want to download this onto your phone, you just want to make everything super easy for posting, if you click the top 3 tabs up here, you can go to a scheduling program. This requires a Canva Pro account, which, like I mentioned, is about $12 whole a month. And then it'll tell you, where you can schedule it. You can do everything from there. Otherwise, you'll just download it and upload it. We do recommend having a scheduling system if you can, just because then you'll know what all of the posts look like next to each other before you actually post them. And then you also don't have to feel like you're glued to your phone. All right, we just went over so many things, and I just want to recap best practices really quickly. So the first thing, make sure that you customize your posts by adding relevant elements and photos. It's our job to give you an awesome skeleton, an awesome baseline of a post that you can use. It's your job to customize it and move it around. Everything within our templates, like I said, is customizable. You can also delete things. There are some shops online that sell templates where you cannot edit everything. So you'll just want to make sure that you look out for that. But if you are using Earn and Lieu templates, everything is customizable. It can be moved, it can be deleted, and if you ever lose the original design, just go search for the link from your purchase or from the downloads that we gave you, and it'll populate the original designs. To make an impact, your templates have to be customized. This means you have to plug in your colors and you have to plug in your fonts. You can't just change the content. What we see a lot of times is people will see a Canva post that they really like, or a post that someone else did that they really like, and they'll just like kind of change the text and then post it because they're like, well, this is really beautiful, but it's not on brand for them at all. And then it just makes your feed look like a mess. It makes you look really unprofessional because it doesn't look like you know what you're doing. And it's really confusing for the user. So you want to make sure that every piece within here that you're able to is customized. Use a variety of your templates. We always give, at least a pack of 10. So you don't want to be using the exact same one every single time. At least when you start, make sure that you're trying different ones. You're trying different like main colors as your background. You're playing around with the layout because it'll diversify your feed. It's really obvious when people are using the exact same template every time. And you'll also begin to notice what works and what doesn't work. There's only so much prediction that we can do in terms of what will perform well on your account, and at the end of the day you have to actually go on, have a really engaging caption, be posting at the right time, make sure that it's content that really serves your audience, and be testing different things. Nothing within your templates, like I said, is locked. It's all customizable. Have fun with it. If there's an element that you don't like, delete it. If your feelings or your style changes, that's the great thing about templates, is nothing is set in stone. So I hope that this was helpful. If you want more help with templates, I'll link our website below. You can schedule a call with us. I'll also link our Etsy shop where you can purchase digital downloadable templates that you can start using immediately. You don't have to wait for shipping or anything. And we create those periodically just as we see a need within the market. And we also have a really helpful blog that goes over basic branding and marketing practices. All right, thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful, and we hope to see you soon. Good luck with your branding.